somehow.
Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, whenever you hear that theme song, then you know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk, and time for me to say greetings to the entire world, because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and communicate with you all around the globe in the Kittitian, Nevisian, and Caribbean diaspora, from right here in the federation of two beautiful islands and one lovely paradise. That's St. Kitts and Nevis. So I say a very pleasant night to St. Kitts and Nevis and to the entire Caribbean region, and to those of you way down south, even on the South American mainland. We do have our viewers down there in Venezuela, Guyana, of course. How is SSB in Guyana? And come up to Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Dominica, Martinique, and Guadeloupe, ça va bien? J'espère. And of course, next door there in Montserrat and Antigua and Barbuda. And we go west to St. Eustatius, Saba, St. Bartholomew, St. Martin, and Guilla. And how is the BVI? Totola, Virgin Gorda, and Agada. How about the USVI? St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix? How is Puerto Rico? And how is the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora all around the globe? Some of you are in Africa. There's some of you in Asia. And there's some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I will say good morning, and I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And for the first timers, I want to thank those who share the link. We do get first-timers when you do so. And for the first-timers, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline, free expression on all issues of national, regional, and international interests, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of discourse. We try to raise the level of national consciousness and national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with the opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I always pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I'm reminded most times by the words of a favorite hymn of mine by Thomas Jackson and Franz Joseph Haydn. Like, an excerpt goes like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and the right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let's seek the courage needed, our high calling, to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, absolutely nothing is watered down in this program. Not to make it more interesting, neither by omission or nor exaggeration. We are not about sensationalism. We are not about creating excitement, because we we lean on the facts. So we're not going to create excitement, sensationalism at the expense of accuracy, because it's my duty to present the unvarnished truth, especially when it comes to governance. Governance in St. Kitts Nevis, governance wherever you are in the world. As this program joins us together with people across our federation, and we're joined with people in the diaspora, like I said before, all over the world. And some of you we know, some we met, some we may never meet. Some will agree with the positions of truth advanced on Straight Talk, and some will disagree. And that's fine, because we promote a diversity of views. But what will sadden me, my Straight Talk family, if we ever start to become disagreeable. Let's agree to disagree, but not to become disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God, nonetheless, for helping us to understand, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for the day when we will all sing His praise together. Welcome again, my people, and thanks one more time for those who continue to share the link as they bring first-timers. Please continue to do so. And may I remind you, in particular the first-timers, that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded, call in. The numbers are on your screens. And if you are someone who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, as I call it, we give you access via our email platform, and that address is also on your screens. And for those who have the Alexa app, just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio, and you're hearing Straight Talk live there as well. Thanks to my brother Massive for providing that forum at a nominal cost. And as we speak about costs, some of you have made donations to support our efforts here on Straight Talk, and please continue to do so. And I say a big thank you. May I also reassure you that no matter the level of your contribution, it will help us to continue this very important service. Others who wish to donate can simply scan the code on your screen to access a payment form. Very simple process. So let me thank you in advance, and thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. As I always say, it's a public service. 2 words, public service. And I won't hear the end of it if I don't hail my special or my junior brigade, the future of Straight Talk, young Dwayne, Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Rue, Travis Travon, Neymar, my grandson, is fast asleep, and Saraya, trust you are up. And that special lady in St. Louis, greetings to all of you. And for those who have not got your parental consent, I can't call you unless your mommy or your daddy said it's okay. And my Straight Talk family, we normally start with our observations in review, at which time we highlight the current issues, we do some reflection, we ask a few questions, and after our observation in review, we move to our thesis for tonight, which I have titled, I believe Sprat, that shark got so high. Hear me? I believe Sprat, that shark got so high. I'll tell you much more about it, so don't you move your platform. Don't move from this platform. Just spread the word that Straight Talk is live on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Alexa. And our first observation tonight, my Straight Talk family, I want to speak candidly about a matter that we anticipate for so long that it would shape our energy landscape for years. The promise, the pitfalls, and the persistent challenges of geothermal energy development particularly, I should say, across the Narrows over the Nevis, my straight dog family, it's something it's mind-boggling at times. Because since its inception, the geothermal initiative has been met with high hopes and deep frustrations. What began as a bold vision to harness what is anticipated, the abundant underground energy beneath both of our islands, soon became mired in a series of setbacks. The dishonesty of our politics and our politicians cannot be ignored as well, especially when one hears comments like this one, my straight dog family. It brings what I call some level of disappointment.
The truth is, Webber, that when this geothermal initiative initially started, I believe that the idea was that Nevis were attempting to go it alone. I think that at some point they did have
resolution,
the US and all of that, and other entities involved. The previous federal government did not show, in my mind and in our minds, the level of interest that we felt would have propelled the geothermal project forward. I believe that we may have lost, I think, 7 years because of that.
And my straight talk family, when you listen to that comment, it is troubling, because how could that be when, in fact, in 2017, the Harris-led Team Unity administration grant-funded the geothermal development on Nevis to the tune of $7.7 million. Hear me, $7.7 million, I said.
Unity took office in 2015. We got the geothermal project, 7.7 million.
You want to hear that again, my straight dog family?
Unity took office in 2015. We got the geothermal project, 7.7 million.
So my straight dog family, when you hear the comments about nothing in 7 years, that's why you hear me say they're troubling. And you wonder why these politicians are so dishonest. But from stalled agreements, shifting international partnerships, and technical delays to challenges in regulatory alignment and transparency, the legacy of geothermal in Nevis, I should say, has been frankly a rocky road. The fact is, the journey started over 20 years ago. So there has been what I call quite a lot of legacy issues. And in 2017, when we got that $7.7 million over to Nevis, this is what the then Deputy Premier had to say.
This geothermal project, has been an exercise that has now occupied the minds of governments, and even through change of governments on the island of Nevis since about 2004. And so as we stand here today in November of 2017, we're talking about now 13 years that we have been trying to get to a point where we can move this project forward. I think the advantages of geothermal are well known. We're talking about clean energy, green energy, cheaper energy, and a renewable resource that really puts Nevis in a category of its own. If we can achieve what we intend to achieve here, it means that Nevis becomes fossil fuel free for this generation of electricity. It puts us really in a category of our own in the Caribbean and perhaps in the world in terms of being completely sustainable for our electricity supply.
And my straight dog family, this is not to say that progress has not been made. There have been sincere efforts genuine investment and undeniable potential uncovered. But we must acknowledge the truth. Missteps in execution and a lack of continuity has slowed what should have been a game-changing energy revolution for our people here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. As we look forward, nonetheless, we must learn from the past. Trust must be rebuilt in our communities. Agreements must be structured, of course, to benefit Nevisians first. I have absolutely no problem with that.
It would be an issue going forward as to the control of geothermal. It would be an issue going forward. My word.
It would be.
It can be a political issue going forward.
Let me put it this way. If any government in Charlestown were to hand over the geothermal project to Basti, that would be political suicide. And I put it as plain and as blunt as that, right? And I don't see that the political organization and the political party that I am associated with have any intention to carte blanche hand over this geothermal resource and this geothermal project to anybody in Basti. Right?
Okay.
And I am talking plain as I am looking at you. Right?
Good.
That will not happen with this CCM administration. That we are going to just hand over this geothermal. This is a partnership, and we are going to be treated with respect when it comes to this geothermal resource on the island of Nevis.
And respect, yes, must be reciprocated. And leadership must remain committed, consistent, and I dare say accountable. Comments like this one from Naya about making St. Kitts feel the squeeze, nonetheless, is troubling, my Straight Dog family.
With this federal thing, things can change rapidly, and sometimes we here in Nevis feel the squeeze. Maybe we can make St. Kitts feel the squeeze, going forward, if we find it necessary too.
Why do we want to make St. Kitts feel the squeeze going forward? Why would that become necessary? Nonetheless, my Straight Dog family, the geothermal dream is not dead though, but it needs a new life. It needs to be grounded in realism, transparency, and collective will. And hear this, it also needs $400 million US dollars, over $1 billion EC dollars to make it a reality.
Yet to implement, for example, geothermal. You know how much the geothermal cost? Total cost might be $400 million US dollars. That's already, if you convert, that's already a big part of our total GDP. Just one project.
Yes, one project, $400 million, over $1 billion EC dollars. But my Straight Dog family, it's a lot to be spoken about geothermal in time to come. My second observation, I listened to the Prime Minister yesterday, and it's difficult listening to our Prime Minister, how he rambles and how he fabricates and how he... And I was baffled to hear him speak about a policy to grow our population. And I said to myself, our Prime Minister is a confused leader, confused to the bone. I say so because just a few months ago, he spoke about our swollen population as a result of the CBI. Remember he said this, my Straight Dog family.
What?
irresponsible, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, between, I said that in 2020 to 2023, as a result of 5,500 CBI units issued for the prison project, I am informed that 166 passports have been issued to citizens by investment in the last 2 years, Madam Speaker. Set up the government. Set up the government with this, Madam Speaker. I repeat, because of the prison project. Madam Speaker, the number goes up more. I can just get to the final number, Madam Speaker. Because each time I look at this number, all sort of things bubble up in me, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, imagine on the previous Nevis Labour Party's watch, with the then CBI investment option over a span of 7 years between 2008 and 2015, 10,000 passports. But under the member for number 7's watch, on the Team Unity's watch, with their CBI investment options, 42,979 passports were issued. Madam Speaker, I think that is about the population of St. Kitts. Madam Speaker.
And yes, my Shidok family, he worried about the population or the amount of passports sold. We don't know if we can trust his figures. He said the amount of passports sold on the CBI are greater than our population. But the Prime Minister said this, nonetheless, about encouraging women to get babies. Yes, believe me, he said this, my Straight Dog family.
But the question remains, what are we going to do to get people to get more babies? I hope you have a couple, you know. And you're adding to the population. But I would say that it is going to be a problem if we don't grow our population, either by migration or by birth. We are seeing for the first time that births are at the lowest rate, but it has been dropping over time. And to keep up, we're going to need, of course, more. So we need to look at comprehensive policies of how we can encourage persons to have more children.
You see, he's confused, my Straight Talk family. He's talking about the CBI passports, 50,000. But he's encouraging or promoting a policy to encourage women to have more babies. Well, no doubt, my Straight Talk family, that policy started already in his cabinet, as he almost had 2 babies. But for a misfortune with one of his cabinet members, cat got she tongue. But for certain, they may just be the one being carried by Mama to be, I call her, Iselin Philip, my Straight Dog family. Mama to be disclosed she is getting a baby. Well, she was raised by or with a priest, so no doubt she has adhered or heeded her biblical instructions to be fruitful and multiply. So we say congrats to the junior minister Iselin Philip, Mama to be. And my third and final observation, my Straight Dog family, I have not heard of my friend or seen my friend and coach or everything sports, I call it, Vernon Springer, for a long time. But it was really, really good to see him in the news. It was really good as well to learn that the St. Kitts Nevis Graduates Soccer Club in New York held their 19th annual banquet, or awards banquet that should be, at the luxurious Eastwood Manor in the Bronx, New York. And my good friend and coach, Vernon Springer, who has been residing in Antigua and Barbuda for some time now, host of Point on the streets. Current Affairs program on Point FM 99.1 was awarded at that particular banquet, along as well with Mr. John. I haven't seen him for a while as well. He's been always Larry John, the stalwart behind the St. Kitts Nevis graduates and soccer in the New York area. Glenroy Manny Maynard, and of course, Avril Francis, that stalwart as well in the media business. But those are my observations in review for tonight, my Straight Dog family. And I move right into my thesis for tonight, which I said I have titled, I believe, Sprat, that shark got so high. And my Straight Dog family, there's an old colloquial saying which goes like this, and I quote, when Sprat come out of the sea and say that shark got so high, you better, hear me, you better believe Sprat. Yes, when Sprat come out of the sea and say that shark got so high, you better believe Sprat. And this is a powerful, I claim it, Kittitian division proverb, rooted in local wisdom. And a sprat, for those of you who may be pondering, is a small, humble fish. And this represents an ordinary person, the underdog, so to speak, the one without power. And the shark, a powerful, dominant creature, symbolizes authority, leadership, someone with status and control. But the core meaning in this really, if it's a small, seemingly powerful or powerless person, like the Sprat, dares to speak out and say something is wrong with someone as powerful as a shark, then it's probably true. And you should pay attention, my Straight Dog family. And a Sprat spoke out, my Straight Dog family. And that Sprat made a statement. That Sprat made a statement. And that Sprat I referred to tonight, meaning a small, ordinary man spoke out and said this, my Straight Dog family.
Before you get into that, I want to finish this thread because I want to show the people the dangerous land prime minister that we have.
Yeah.
Okay? Before you get into that, I want to finish this thread because I want to show the people the dangerous land prime minister that we have.
Yeah.
Okay?
And my Straight Dog family, it's in this context I interpret the recent statement when Sprat come out the sea and say that shark got so high. Believe Sprat. And I interpret the recent statement made by DJ Marishaw that Terence Michael Drew is a dangerous liar. Just like Sprat, my Straight Dog family, come out of the shark belly, Marisha come from the belly of the Labour Party. But the difference between Marisha and Drew is that Marisha is not just a Labour comrade. Marisha is a patriot. No matter what you say about DJ Marisha, the man is not afraid to talk truth to power, and he puts country above self. Well, ask yourself the simple question. If we had more DJ Marishas, do you believe the country would have been in this current political quagmire? Hell no, I hear you say. And you are so correct. So don't come to tell me or send me anything about the messenger. Listen carefully to the message. Imagine a prime minister is labeled a dangerous liar, and that is frightening. Many, I'm sure, would prefer a Joe Biden with his cognitive impairment, where his age and mental fitness became an issue, rather than a Terence Michael July, who lies like when a horse is trotting, as my grandmother used to say. On Tuesday last, just 2 days ago, my Straight Talk family, just 2 days ago, at his so-called round table, a reporter asked him a simple question about the stall project, and he did what he does best, which is to respond with a precious lie, my Straight Talk family.
Yolanda Weeks, Win FM. Mr. Prime Minister, can we get an update on the Robert Bradshaw Museum and the construction of the headquarters for the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs? And one more for now. Late last year at a roundtable discussion, you spoke about an antimicrobial resistance initiative for St. Kitts and Nevis that was supposed to be launched. Also give us an update on that as well, please.
Good. Thank you very much. With respect to the Robert Bradshaw, we have done the stabilization work of the building. So if you go there, you'll see the stabilization work. There was a pause in the whole process because we are doing the procurement and so forth for it. We already done a lot of the planning and so forth. So that will go forward. We will have a Robert L. Bradshaw Museum in Bath.
And my Straight Talk family, he's been saying that now for going on 3 years. And did you hear him say they were doing a stabilization program? Almost 3 years ago, the Prime Minister illegally, underline illegally, took $4 million from the government treasury and started the construction of the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum, which he promised was to be completed for the Independence 2022 by Straight Talk family. And he spent $4 million. He took $4 million from the treasury for this museum.
Currently it's under construction, and we're hoping, really pushing to see if we can complete it by September 16th. I know that's a lofty goal, but we are really pushing. If not, definitely we want to complete it by this year. We expect it to cost in the region of maybe about $4 million because we want to build it up, make it a tourist attraction, create areas so that people can appreciate exactly how our first national hero would have lived, and to immortalize his life once and for all, and to convert his property into a place where tourists would visit, children would visit, all of us would be able to visit as we remember him for the tremendous work that he would have done. So his construction is going on, and to about maybe $4 million grand total at the end of the day.
And you heard him yourself, my Straight Talk family, the precious liar. He just said that they stabilized the program, the building. So did it take $4 million to stabilize a building? But my Straight Talk family, almost 3 years later, he lies about stabilizing the building and beginning the procurement process. That's what he said. He's going to begin the procurement process. So even if we try to believe his precious lie, it means that it took over $4 million from the government treasury to stabilize the building. But let's recall, that weeks after his appointment, Terence Michael July set up a project unit in his office that appointed one Miss Allers as project manager. Shortly thereafter, Terence Michael July engaged Williams and Associates, my Straight Talk family, as architect and project manager. Lennox Warner and Partner as general contractor. Landscape architect DreamWorks Designs and engineers Jenkins Construction So why is he lying to us about procurement? They are already on the job, or were already on the job. Terrence Michael July has now therefore confessed that he committed a crime when he took over $4 million from the government treasury in total contravention of the Procurement and Administration Act. He's accustomed of breaking the law. He's accustomed of committing crimes. If you think of the CBI, he committed fraud, and we'll get to that. So too, my Straight Dog family, Terrence Michael July also committed another crime when he took $5.8 million from the government treasury. Again, my Straight Dog family, without the procurement process. And he paid his friend for the purchase of 1,000 water tanks, as they call them, water buckets, as they call them, my Straight Dog family. $5.8 million for 1,000 water buckets. And that calculates to $5,800 per bucket. He gave this contract to his friend without procurement as well.
We have sent the fire truck, we have sent the water truck. We continue to send the fire truck, we continue to send the water truck. We have just signed a contract to purchase water storage tanks. So at least when the water truck goes, they have a larger receptacle to store the water. People are having serious challenges. I would also like to thank Mr. Ashley Allers, because he's the one who brought the idea of how we can help with the storage receptacles that we're going to launch just now. That took a little bit longer because I had to go through the procurement process and so forth for transparency and so forth. But that is another matter another aspect that we have brought to bear to deal with the issue in terms of getting larger receptacles. And when we have more water, those will be set up completely so that people can have proper storage.
What a lie, my Straight Dog family, about going through the procurement process. The pattern of lies, deceit, and fraud has become emblematic of Terrence Michael July and his cabinet. These dubious traits are symbols of the kind of or quality of leadership the country has had to endure under Terrence Michael July. He's so bold-faced, or perhaps we can agree with the adage that a liar has no memory. Because if he can look into a camera and said that there was no capital project in 7 years, then he's either a bold-faced liar or he has some sort of disease that affects his memory, his thinking, and or his behavior. When he can say this, my Straight Dog family, to look into a camera and say this.
Show me a major project that the previous administration did in 7 years. You can't find one. And again, it's because you can't get major projects done if you don't not planning properly, you don't have the right vision to plan, put it in place, match with the funding, and get the project done. And so people are astonished, how are we getting all these major projects done? How? We are getting them done because of significant and important plan. And therefore, I want to say to you, Carla, that the Basti High School is intended to start within the next month.
Every month, the next month, my Straight Dog family. But Drew was the one who posted on his Facebook page about the largest ship that came alongside our cruise pier. No project in 7 years. Yes, he boasted about the smooth roads, my Straight Dog family. He boasted about the smooth roads around the country. Yet no project was done under Team Unity, my Straight Dog family.
I know we have excellent roads in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it's easy to drive fast in a nice, smooth road. There are not a lot of potholes to slow you down.
And my Straight Dog family, yes, The team unit administration, within 5 years, resurfaced the entire Island Main Road. And of course, build resilience across Old Road Bay. And with all that rain that continues to fall, and those guts, Odgy gut, College gut, down in Old Road, over in Cairn, all over the country, but Old Road Bay in particular, my Straight Dog family. Could you imagine what Old Road Bay would have been like yesterday and days gone by if we did not build resilience across that road, my Straight Dog family? So how can he say that Team Unity did no capital project in 7 years, my Straight Dog family? Well, he's worse than Biden. Surely, my Straight Dog family.
Good afternoon, everyone. Minister Liburd, Minister Grant, let me welcome you here. It is with great pleasure that I am here standing this afternoon because we have achieved quite a bit. From the perspective of Minister Liburd, who was undertaking this task, and Minister Grant, both projects are sitting right in your constituency. But most importantly, let me congratulate those who have taken the opportunity to be here with us, because I think it is a major step forward. And tonight we have with us also our new PS. I think we have spent quite a bit of time in his office or in the vicinity of his office in planning this project. And it is, to us, a major achievement, despite we are still quite a distance away from completion. But I think what you have seen is the major component of what is to be done and what will be done. Let me give you an overview of basically what happened for those who have not been with us before. And this probably is our third or fourth, depending on which section of the projects you're looking at. But let me start with the minor component, which is the fisheries breakwater. The first town hall meeting we had was a bit hostile. The second one was mild and understanding. And I hope by now we would have seen basically where we are going and why we have done what we have set out to do, and the component of that which we have accomplished. I recall on one of my flights coming here, there was a gentleman, he has been a civil engineer in the US Army, and he had looked at both projects from just interest in civil engineering projects, because marine works has been his specialty. And he said to me, well, you know, why do you use such large rocks for armoring the breakwater in particular? And my remark was, well, the stability of the project is one, but two, we have no intention of having it failing unless the categories and the calculations that are now currently being used has been superseded by other factors that we are not able to predict at the moment.
And yes, my Straight Dog family, the road built to withstand the Category 5 hurricane and really building resilience across Old Road Bay. But can someone remind our misleader, Terence Michael July, that in the first 5 years of Team Unity, as I said earlier, we constructed the second cruise pier that can accommodate 2 of the world's largest cruise ships simultaneously, my Straight Dog family. And one of 3 ports in the Caribbean that can.
Celebrity Summit. Now, your ship is one of 2 ships that are the first to dock at our second cruise pier. How do you feel coming to St. Kitts to such a warm welcome?
It is very nice. The new pier is very wide, and it is much better actually than the previous one. And it's a very nice construction. And for us, from the marine side of you, you have enough fenders, enough bollards, nice and safe, with much better angle against the wind also. So congratulations, this is amazing.
Sounds good.
So my Straight Talk family, when you hear Jew talking in stupidness about nothing done in 7 years, it is nothing, like I said, but stupidness, my Straight Talk family, that he continues to talk. And you wonder, what is wrong with our Prime Minister? Something has to be wrong with our Prime Minister if he can peddle that nonsense, my Straight Talk family. Something has to be wrong, like I said, with our Prime Minister. And he continues to peddle the nonsense. So Team Unity did in 3.5 years with that cruise pier what Douglas could not do in 20 years. And for the 3 years of this current Labour administration, or this Labour government, it has failed to complete as well the upland development over there on Port Zante. Something we left there to be completed. And after 3 years, they have failed, my Straight Talk family, failed miserably to complete the upland development over there at Port Zante. Plans were already complete and during my tenure, and funds were already sourced, my Straight Talk family. But you see, they are concerned, my Straight Talk family, about lavish lifestyle, like taking a private jet, for example.
A pivotal moment in African-Caribbean economic relations unfolds here in Abuja as St. Kitts. Nevis Prime Minister Terence Drill arrived for the African-Caribbean Investment Summit.
And my Straight Talk family, I do apologize for that. Something just seemed to be going wrong. When things can go wrong, they do go wrong. My Straight Talk family. Let's try this one more time.
His touchdown signaled more than just a diplomatic visit. With the stage set for high-stakes discussion, the expectation is high.
My Straight Talk family, you do forgive me for that. Something is just not going right here with something's just going on. But Mr. Straight Talk family, in opposition, he labeled a project under the CBI program as criminal. But when he got into office, he perpetuated the criminality. The Prime Minister first caused what can be now called a serious distraction by going into the National Assembly and creating legislation to criminalize underselling. But who would believe that Terence Michael July transgressed the very piece of legislation that he tabled in the National Assembly? Drew approved the legislation, my Straight Talk, in Parliament in December 2022. December 2022, my Straight Talk family. And who would believe that in 2023, the same Terence Michael July was signing certificates of registration? Who would believe that, my Straight Talk family? he would sign a certificate of registration in 2023, my Stray Dog family, and in 2024 as well. Lawless, a lawless leader, my Stray Dog family. The question is there a solution to how things are going and how they should go about it? And I look towards the young people to change the things that are bad within the system that has failed us. For my Stray Dog family, we cannot allow this misleader of ours to continue to fool us, to continue to break the law, my Stray Dog family. And then he's blaming people about challenging and trying to break up the program. My Stray Dog family, since in 2024, Stray Dog got its hands on this copy of this letter addressed to the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, March 22nd, 2024. And I'll read just excerpts. I am happy to report that thanks to the court order MSR Media had obtained in the United States, we were able to subpoena several banks in this matter. We have now in our possession very detailed bank records involving the individuals and companies we suspected to be involved in the fraud and corruption of the CBI. In the process of this investigation, we have found troubling transactions involving the chairman of the CIU Board of Governors, Sylvester Anthony, and the Foreign Minister, Dennis Douglas. I informed the Attorney General 2 days ago because since your government has insisted on good governance and integrity in public life, he should be aware of these findings. I also wanted to formally inform you and the Attorney General that these two individuals will now be added to the lawsuit MSR Media plans to file during the first week. And this, my Stray Dog family, is since 2024. But they didn't want to see that. This was the cover email sent to. This cover email was sent as well, my Stray Dog family, to the Attorney General. But they didn't want to see this. But here's what. They now come and they're accusing people. Who would believe that yesterday, my Stray Dog family, as if our Prime Minister went out of his rockers and he started to say things like this.
So, hear what somebody sent to me. This is how I know that this is a plan. Let me read this, Jack. Good afternoon, Honorable Prime Minister. How are you doing? This message is to update you on the matter of the documentary about the CBI that produced by Mr. Martinez. I get this on Friday. I went to the screening. Can you imagine? Somebody went to the screening? A petition? I went to the screening. It is well put together and very compelling. Several of our citizens, including yourself, is featured in it. I recommend that you try to see it for yourself before it goes into the public domain. They're inviting me to go see the screening that MSR has put out with Mr. Martinez.
And my Stray Dog family, then he came back and said this.
A warning to them. I have it right here. Let me screenshot it and save it into photos. Yeah, so they can't say they didn't send it to me. Yeah, it's going to be saved in photos. Copy. Closing remarks. So, Mr. Bat, we'll have some more next week. I just didn't want, I think because we've been here.
So, my Stray Dog family, We must talk about DJ Marisha, a sprat in the eyes of many, but one who has swum to the surface with heavy words on his lips. He has raised alarm over our citizenship by investment program, and even more boldly questioned the leadership and integrity of the man who stands at the helm, the Prime Minister, the shark. This is no small thing, my Stray Dog family. Marisha is not backed by the power of office or protected by political rank. His voice is not cushioned by advisors or speech writers. He's a man with something to lose, and yet he spoke. He looked the shark in the face and said, "You got so high." That's what Marisha told the shark, looking into his face. "You got so high." Now, we don't know all the facts. That is why we are calling, not for scandal, not for division, but for truth and transparency. If Marisha is wrong, let him be disproven. But if he is right, let the people know. Because the CBI program is not the private property of politicians. It is the birthright of the Kittitian and Nevision people. Our economy relies on it. Our international reputation is tied to it. Our national trust depends on it. If there are shadows over how many passports or how passports are being sold, how funds are being handled, or who is benefiting most, we deserve answers. And don't be fooled into thinking this is just political noise. That's how sharks protect themselves. They swim fast, stir the water, and try to blur the vision of those watching. But when a sprat swims up and speaks up, it's not noise, it's a signal. So I say again, believe the sprat, or at least listen to him. Hear him out, my Stray Dog family. This nonsense about extortion comes up again. But if he got a message that tried to extort the Prime Minister, why didn't he send it since Friday to the Attorney General? Why? Why is he holding on to the letter of my Stray Dog family? The Prime Minister is just a precious liar. But let's just move forward, my Stray Dog family, not with fear or favor, but with integrity. And I want to expose you to this video without any edit whatsoever.
I'm always in favor of us in the region trying to see if everybody could hold one common head. But those 4 reasons are so powerful, I can't hold a common head on anybody with that.
The Antigua Prime Minister had accused Gonzalez of adopting the position of developed countries that have opposed to any innovation that developing countries devise to carve out a space for themselves. On Monday, Gonzalez dismissed Brown's comments, saying his administration will not budge on the matter.
I don't really anything to say about what Gaston said. I don't think he advances the discussion at all. And to the extent that there has to be an answer, my answer is in what I stated initially.
Gonzalez says the passport of his country is sacred and will never be up for sale.
As I always say, the passport is the outward sign of the inward grace of citizenship, and citizenship is the highest office in the land. Neither is a commodity for sale.
The Vincentian Prime Minister has pushed back against the opposition there, what has backed the idea of introducing a CBI program, a matter that could become a main debating point in the lead-up to general elections, likely there this year. Gonzalez, whose country is one of the fewest relations with Taiwan, seen by China as a renegade province, has suggested that the push to have St. Vincent adopt a CBI program is being supported by Chinese actors, whom he claimed, without providing evidence, are prepared to bankroll the opposition's campaign.
That's why they're joining up with people with they get rid of Taiwan and bring China. So there's a confluence of interests because the Chinese companies too selling passports. You want to undermine a government which has brought such benefits to the people for the last 24 years? No. That ain't going to happen. St. Vincent and the Grenadines respects the Chinese civilization. I admire it greatly. I'm a student of the Chinese civilization. And we don't subscribe to a one China policy. There's a one Chinese civilization, and you can have different political expressions out of that civilization. Why you want to come and undermine my democracy to get a government, to get a party to come in, to do that?
And my Straight Talk family, our airport been privatized. Jew has said nothing about it. CITC have been given 3,000 shares. That's 12,000 passports, my Straight Talk family. 3,000 at $275,000. That's $825 million. So, my Straight Talk family, where is all that money going? Where's it going? Who's making all that money? Is there some kickbacks, my Straight Talk family? Ask yourselves a question. For $100 million project, 3,000 shares issued, my Straight Talk family. But Drew is afraid of this damaging video. He's frightened.
How did this petition get to see the screening of a nasty MSR video against St. Kitts and Nevis and against our CBI program? How? I'm going to deal with this seriously. I'm not taking this lightly. I recommend that you try to see it for yourself before it goes into the public domain. How I going to see it? This is their way of inviting me. It is very damaging. As you are aware, I am only a phone call away. Time is running out and time is running out. They're a phone call away. I must call them. Trying to get $40 to $100 million out of me. The ball is in your court. Be safe. I mean, come on. See to you Friday. Send this to me at 5:23 p.m.
And ask yourselves, my Straight Talk family, why didn't he give it to his Attorney General or the DPP and execute a warrant on those who tried to extort him? That's a question you ask yourselves. But you know why, my Straight Talk family? It's because of this.
Before you get into that, I want to finish this thread because I want to show the people the dangerous lying prime minister that we have.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's because he's a dangerous, lying prime minister, according to Marisha. And you know, a former prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago said, he said this. And before I expose you to what he said, in a time like this, when our country stands at a critical crossroads, we must return to the wisdom of our foreparents, because they taught us plain and simple language that a liar is a thief. As you can't trust a man's word, how can you trust his leadership? Just recently, my Straight Talk family, Marisha was a patriot, a man who once worked closely with those same men within the corridors of power. He made that statement that has shaken the foundation, my Straight Talk family. My grandmother used to say this.
It raises a question, ladies and gentlemen. If they cannot speak the truth in small things, imagine what they will do in big things. My mother used to say, show me a liar and I'll show you a thief.
Yes, so if you can't speak the truth in small things, what you will do in big things? Show me a liar. My granny used to say as well, and I'll show you a thief. Marisha referred to the Prime Minister as a dangerous and lying Prime Minister. This is no petty insult. This is a damning allegation against the Prime Minister. It is a warning. And if we ignore it, we do so at our peril. Lots of people are telling me about Marisha this and Marisha that. But to me, those things are immaterial. I hold no brief for Marisha. But Marisha is obviously not a comrade. He's a patriot. Examine the dangers with this kind of leadership and the dangers that pose to our beloved Federation. We will lose our credibility. Foreign investors and international partners will not deal confidently with a government led by someone perceived to be dishonest. Where will the CBI go? The CBI is our economic lifeline. If it's run by untrustworthy hands, it becomes toxic, and our golden goose will stop laying those eggs. If the top is compromised, the rot spreads downward. Dishonesty invites misuse of public funds. People like Marisha will be vilified or silenced, which means wrongdoings will go unchallenged. A lying leader fears truth. The media becomes a target and freedom of information dies. The public loses faith, not just in the leader, but in the government itself. People will stop participating in democracy. A dishonest leader sells dreams, not plans. Policies become public relations stunts with no substance. That's the July and his team of experts. The civil service, the police, the judiciary are all at risk becoming tools of political protection. Our young people would learn to mimic what they see. If lies go unpunished, they become the norm. Dishonest leadership leads to shady dealings, bad partners, and sometimes even criminal infiltration. And that's what we got here in St. Kitts, my Straight Dog family. So I would want to say to you, I believe, Sprat, that shark got so high. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I'll entertain your calls and your emails, and the numbers are on your screen. I'll open the lines momentarily. And just to implore you as per usual, when I do so, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. And let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. And my Straight Dog family, in doing and saying those things, let us as well strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. My Straight Dog family, it's 11 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. And I'll go straight to the lines and say good night to my first caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my dear.
The quote for this evening. Promises may fit friends. Non-performance will turn them into enemies. I repeat, promises may fit friends. Non-performance will turn them into enemies. Have a great evening.
Non-performance will turn them into enemies. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Quotation will turn them into enemies, you said. Yes, my Straight Dog family, the lines are open. Let's go straight back to the lines. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd.
Good evening, my dear.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Okay, this is Kalikwan Auntie. Now I know how to get in.
Okay.
Now I know how to get in your
business, I will ask him call on Monday and Thursday. What I'm calling you to, what I'm calling you to ask you, I'm here listening to you. All those money that he have and walking off from the passport, what he doing with it?
In time, we'll tell.
That's right. All these money that he using up and scandalizing, what they doing with it, they're putting it on the bank book. Are they saving it that when they lose and they come out of power, they have it to spend? He need to come out and tell the people of Singit and Nevis what he doing and stop their lies. He don't know what he doing. He cannot run the country. He better he give it back to Timothy. 250 he giving the people and he make so much money he get. And he cabal them. Doing all kind of thing with this money and give poor people in this country 250 because the worthy of 250. What is 250? 250 ain't the money? Cost of living in this country, 250 ain't the money. He have this one over new one we're getting 10,000 every month. 10,000 just to tell him foolishness what to do. And he ain't telling him the right thing. What happened to healthcare in this country for poor people? What happened to healthcare? All that he's supposed to check on and start walk up tax people money to go down the place down there. He and he cabal them. That's what he's supposed to think on. Healthcare in this country for children and parents. Everybody. When they sick, they gone on a plane. But you the poor man who don't have it, you must stop here and dead. God don't like ugly. God do not like ugly. Then he get back the country to Timothy. Timothy could run the country good. He never hear that do. All in the pandemic, he never hear that do. And the next thing again, Mr. Liburd, the Borgon and the Woodley family them are still hurting from Calicuan death. The commissioner, if you're listening me, do what is right and call Officer Jeffers and talk to him and ask him question, get down on him. The Minister of Finance, get down and the commissioner call him and ask him a question. My brother is not a little little boy, you know. He's a big man and he was an inspector. He's not a little boy. He wrote to him and up to now, he ain't get any answer from him, from the commissioner, the corrupt commissioner. I don't know how I don't know what's going on in Sinkit, but Sinkit ain't running good. Sinkit ain't running good. Things not go good. Things don't look good. Poor people are bad. They're hungry. They're not got no money to spend. Everybody used to get the 500 in there. Timothy never used to watch the face. And now look today, 250 everybody watching this face. Talk about Jad, Aja, whatever they call it. Nonsense. What he doing with all that money there? He only cabal them. Taking people tax money and doing a load of dances and going in the government headquarters that talk about pass that, pass this, pass that. The police them are the criminal them. That kill people, children, and I say lie. But my brother child life ain't going on like that. He ain't going on the jail, and he ain't going on like no dog, cause he never no dog. Just 15 years shaking out to come man and kill my brother child and feel like all is well. But God, Master God tonight, today made 3 weeks, a month and 3 weeks.
Okay.
Since Calicuan get that at White Gear.
Okay.
You have a good evening, Mr. Liburd.
Thank you. Have a good evening as well. I feel your pain, my dear, and I trust that we'll get over that issue. But the lines are open, my Straight Talk family. If you have just joined me, we are looking at our thesis for tonight, which is, I believe, Sprat, that shark got so high. We go back to the lines. Caller, you. Hello, caller. Yes, my lord.
Good night.
Yes, good night. Good night, my brother.
And how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Now, I have to watch a scripture. Two Bible scripture parties. Psalm 91 and Proverbs chapter 21 and So I am going to read them passage. I am not going to start too long. Hear the word of God here. In Psalm 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High
shall abide under the shadow.
Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
Yes.
I will say to the Lord, he is my refuge. My fortress, in God will I trust.
Yes.
Now, here is the word of God in Proverbs chapter 21. It's telling you, rob not the poor because he is poor. So, I want somebody to read it and let you understand. Me ain't going to stop the long on your phone, Mr. Paget.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And so, this is what I am saying to you. Have a pleasant night, Mr. Paget.
Do the same, my brother.
And I am saying to you, when I listen, you hustle me off your phone. But when I listen to somebody else, take up so many times chatting more, as a lot of mercy.
Okay. Got you.
All I have to tell you, use the moderator and don't let nobody confuse your mind, Mr. Paget.
Okay.
Have a pleasant night, rest.
Have a pleasant night as well, my dear brother, the Bible man. Always look forward to your, what I call your spiritual interventions on Straight Talk. That's Straight Talk is about everything and about everyone. My lines are open, and yes, some will get more time than others, but that's part of Straight Talk. That's what makes Straight Talk my Straight Talk family. Greetings, my dear friend reads this email, and good evening, Patches. What stupidness is July talking? He taking MSR to court? Nonsense, Patches. He had the person or persons whom he said wanted all this money in his office. Why did he not keep them there, excuse himself and call the police, the SSU and the army and lock them up? Then Lucifer and Smith could have got busy and charged them. Patches, when we dream in black and white. Tell July when you next see him, we not like him. When he dreams, it is in technicolor. Patches, good night and God bless you. Let's go back to the lines. Thank this call of holding. Call you live.
Good night, Patrick.
Good night, sir.
You have a white man coming in from Foreign, who laugh a plan from Point, telling one load of lie. They with a big policeman and I call his name. She married to the man and then they went to court and they tried out the house. With a family house. Kind of thing.
Yeah, but
she bring that back. She tried out the house. Some point. She tried out the house.
Yeah, but what we discussing?
No, the same thing.
Yeah.
She tried out the house. She bring she daughter come here. Bam. They tried out the house.
Yeah, but what that has to do with us here tonight, though? Be honest with you.
No, the thing, because this was going on in life. A man in a family house and he went court. The man kept nothing listen to the man, nothing, no story at all. And they throw the man out the house.
Okay.
A family house. And she now in the house with she daughter.
Okay,
thanks a lot. I stay from here.
All right, thanks a lot, my brother. Thanks a lot for the... Okay, I got you. Thanks a lot for your information. This message reads my Straight Talk family. Good evening, Ambassador. Hope you are remaining peaceful. Yes, I am. At peace with my God, at peace with myself, and at peace with the world. It boggles the mind regarding blackmail coming from Prime Minister Jew. Having read the article from CMC, it would be prudent for the Prime Minister to name the blackmailers, extortionists. We, the citizens, need to know. This is not a private matter. It concerns all of us. If Dr. Jew has any backbone, he'll do the correct thing and let the chips fall where they may. Blessings reads this email. This other email reads, a pleasant good evening, Patches. Patches, your thesis tonight aptly describes Dr. July as the shark that Sprats such as Dr. Douglas, Martinez, DJ Marshall, and so many others has warned us about. Lest we forget, it was Dr. Denzel Douglas who rescued Dr. July from the discarded bin when he was met frail and suffering from malnutrition, then took him into the folds of the Labour Party and nursed him back to health. No sooner that Dr. Jew started to eat good food and living well, when Dr. Douglas got distracted with national affairs, Dr. Jew executed the mutinous plan of a coup d'etat to topple Douglas. He used his many proxies who bombarded social media and mainstream media to launch sustained attacks from air, land, and sea. Dr. Douglas stood no chances of survival, my straight-up family, whatsoever against Dr. Jew and his proxies attacks. Dr. Jew, having had Dr. Douglas's mortally wounded, he went in for the kill. When the first time in his party's 89 years old existence, Dr. Douglas, the sitting leader of the party, was challenged by Dr. Jew, who held his elder statesman into a deadlock, chokehold, and squeezed him into submission, then became leader of the party with 45% of the delegates voted in his favor and 55% voted against him. Other Sprats such as Martinez and DJ Marshall, who catapulted him to power, then suffered the same fate as Dr. Douglas have come under sustained attacks after Dr. Douglas did. Now they are warning us the July, the shark got sore eyes, but we still not listen. Who can't hear, can feel, reads that email. We go back to the lines at 9:25. Caller, you're live.
Yes, good night, Mr. Patches. How are you tonight?
I am peaceful, sir. Yourself?
Peaceful. I've had a good day. And I hope you yourself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Give thanks. Patches, there's a serious melody taking place in St. Kitts, right? But I just want you to understand. I like your spirit. I like your information. I learn from you. I achieve what I want to achieve, and I put away what I don't want. Patches, you see this situation that is taking place in St. Kitts right now? This is a very high diabolical evil against our country. Don't take it simply. Don't entertain it with a smile. It is putting our country in a terrible situation. And, naturally, that same individual, I'm not attacking him, but that same individual destroy your government. So you got to realize some people might think they are prudent in speaking the truth, but where are their heart? Where are their integrity? Where are their love really for the people? When you're going to go and meet with an individual who's showing you a document that's going to destroy the country, and you condone all of that stuff, and you're working for the government, and you're meeting with this individual, siding with this individual I'm trying to find the word. I don't want to get too passionate, but Patches, do not get caught up with it, because that was the same evil that destroy your government. Same evil. People have a motive, Patches. They might be genuine in one way to people's ears who does not agree with the government But they are very destructive in the other way, and they will continue to be destructive if that is their nature. Take it serious. It's not a righteousness that he's doing. It is an evil partisan. So don't bother him up and give him praise, Patrick, because that's what you today, not a minister, because he destroy your government. That's what he said.
Come on, ask
but he alone couldn't do it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. And you know, I can feel your passion, right? But let's just reflect for a moment. And I'm sure you will recall that when Dr. Drew was in opposition, he claimed that the prison project was criminal. Remember that?
Right.
Right mean yes? You mean yes?
Repeat what you said because you're breaking up a little bit. Repeat what you said.
He said the project that sold some 3,000 or 5,000 shares was criminal. You remember that, right?
Right.
But he went in with a flair and he amended the legislation to make it a criminal offense to undersell. He said of being undersold, right? You remember that as well? But didn't it shock you that to find out that after doing all of that, saying all of that and doing all of that, saying it's being criminal and doing these things, he went and he signed the COR in 2003 and in 2004. You think that's proper? You think who is mashing up the country? He? We should just turn a blind eye to that. What do you think?
Patrick, you see, all of that is imperfection. All of that is
imperfection. Okay, I got
corruption of the government. Corruption of the government.
Okay.
Corruption of politicians. I respect all of that, what you're saying, because as I told you Monday night, it is a political corruption system that we are living in. It would not be right. It would never be fair. It would never be honest. And it would never give us total perfection, satisfaction, because that is not the nature of politicians.
Okay.
Serious, brother. So let us pray for our country because we need it. Let us don't let an individual destroy our country, correct our country growth. We got to be careful with certain people in life. Patrice, serious, take my word, serious, Patrice.
Okay.
He was not your friend yesterday, so don't let him be your friend today. Don't be the kind of thing. Don't get involved in the kind of sorcery kind of business there. Be careful.
Okay, my friend.
I always aware of these kind of people. Trust me.
But right is right and wrong is wrong, though, right? And you support right where it comes from. But thanks a lot.
So, Patrick, you the church man, pray for your country. Ask God to guide your ministers. Ask God to guide your prime minister. To give them wisdom and honesty. That's what we need to do.
I'm asking God to remove them from office. They're too corrupt.
Well, all of that is prudent. All of that is prudent.
Thanks a lot for your intervention, man.
Thank you.
Always good to hear. Yes, my Shizok family. Do you believe the Sprat? I do. I do believe the Sprat, and we have to protect the nation. We are at a moment in time when truth is not only under threat, but it is actively being buried across our nation, from economic mismanagement to security failures, from electoral manipulation to corruption in public offices. What is most alarming is not just the wrongdoing, but the desperate attempts to hide it. That is what's alarming. And it is often said, that the cover-up is worse than the crime. And today we are seeing the weight of that truth unfold before our eyes. Someone said today that we may not have a CBI program soon because it is mashed up by Dr. July. I I saw something. I was trying to get it on my screen, but I failed before I went online. Where they're still underselling going on. I'll post it for you next time around. But a government that fails is one thing. But a government that lies about its failure, silences whistleblowers, manipulates data, and shields itself with propaganda, such a government is a danger to democracy itself. Where are the investigations into all these missing funds? Why do reports vanish? Why do officials caught in the act face promotions rather than prosecutions? These are not mere oversights. They are orchestrated cover-ups. You hear what's happening in the Ministry of Sustainable Development. You hear what's happening in the Ministry of National Security. But when leaders are more committed to protecting their image than solving the people's problem, the people suffer twice. Once from the original failure, and again from the deliberate deception, my Stray Dog family. We are not asking for perfection. No one can be perfect. The only man that walked the face of the earth that was perfect was Jesus Christ. So we're not asking for perfection. We are demanding honesty, accountability, the courage to admit when things go wrong and resolve to put them right. That is leadership, and that is integrity. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller?
Yeah, Patches, man. Good night, man. How you doing, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Good. You see the last word that just came out your mouth before I got on? Integrity.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last word came out your mouth before you accept my call. And I want to say thank you for bringing me on. Our federation is in a mess, bro. And I'm going to try on the bro and the man tonight, because when everybody got the emotions flowing, this is how they talk. You all got your own twang in the islands. I got my twang up here.
Okay.
Nobody tell me how to talk or how to think. I'm an independent person, especially right now tonight and in the midst of what's going on in St. Kitts and Nevis. The place is in a mess. And I'm going to hold my corner, because guess what? I can't talk to A, I can't talk to B, I can't talk to C, because everybody is tugging and pulling and cussing and carrying on. And when is this shit is going to stop, bro? The party politics is mashing up the place. All them same people who saw on the party lines, those are the same people who are going to have to really come in the street together and break the system. The system is corrupted. St. Kitts and Nevis is in a mess and it needs cleaning up. And if nobody come up out of the ashes, it's going to stay like how it is. The status quo going to remain, and we're going to be going around in circles and around in circles, round and round and chinching back. The people got to understand they're the ones got the real power in their hands. The politicians are not going to change anything to benefit the people. It's been going on for too long. Citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, whether you're locally or overseas, understand what's going on in the Federation. Patches, we got corruption in our families. We got corruption in the citizens. And we got corruption in the leaders. So guess what? This shit got to change. Patches, I'm a man. I'm going to stand right over wrong, good over evil. We need more love in the place. We're attacking each other every day. This shit got to stop, man. In this little tiny dot called St. Kitts and Nevis, the whole world is watching us. We are destroying ourselves. We're destroying each other. If I was the prime minister that came in, I might have to put the big stick down on the Federation and discipline the whole country. This place is in a mess. You see how China is elevated and be on the top of the world right now? St. Kitts and Nevis could have been the beacon of the Caribbean at least. We got to use our small size to our advantage. But all I'm seeing in St. Kitts and Nevis, looking in from out here, the place is under a dark cloud. We're going down the wrong road. You know what I mean? Yo, Judge are gonna put down that big stick and you might take the Almighty to come down and sink the Nevis because I ain't seen nobody on the horizon that wants to come up out of the ashes. I asked them to remove that Brian clause because guess what? This is where the Brian clause comes in. Because none of these leaders have any allegiance or loyalty to Sinkis and Nevis right now. None of them got loyalty to Sinkis and Nevis, and none of them got allegiance to the Federation because their behavior shows. The bill, when a man went in the parliament and passed about underselling of the passport is a criminal act. Patches, you know, the whole world that's hearing my voice knows right now that anything that's illegal, if law enforcement find out that you're carrying out that illegal act, they will charge you. We don't need to go in parliament and say that underselling of the passport's illegal. It's illegal from day one. And all those persons who is involved with the underselling of the Sinkis Nevis passport, they should be rounded up and be charged. The agent needs to do his job. The DPP needs to do his job. And the Prime Minister should be acting and instructing them to do the work. The persons under the Prime Minister who's controlling these departments called PSs, they're just collecting a check.
Okay.
The advisors are just collecting a check. The system needs to be buckled. The system needs to change. Otherwise, we'll be talking about this stuff 40 more years from now.
Okay, got you, my brother. Got you, loud.
I wish the Federation the best going forward. But anybody call my name, bro, in any of this crazy shit, I'm going to defend myself. So please, people, anyone you all think you are going to come to me, y'all come because I'm ready.
Okay, got you, my brother.
I'll defend myself.
I got you loud and clear. Got you loud and clear, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for your intervention. Very passionate there, very emotional. I could understand, I feel the pain. The Prime Minister is not a person to be trusted. Reads this email. His word is definitely not his bond. And that is not good for the Federation to have a Prime Minister labeled as a compulsive liar. Read this email. The DJ was right to come out and expose him for what he really is. We go back to the lines and say good night to this caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Patches. It's Philip Martinez. How are you?
I am peaceful. The Philip Martinez that we know?
The one and only.
Okay.
Listen, first of all, I'd like to commend you for this crusade for transparency in your CBI program. But I would like to give you some information for your audience to understand what's really happening here. For the past 2.5 years, MSR has investigated and obtained all bank transactions of all the actors that have operated the CBI. Though we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars from Bank of America and other banks. When we discovered, if you recall, I made a podcast in 2024 where I out Terence Michael Drew for signing the application, the COR, that he said that were criminal. Once we realized that, I had no choice but to file a whistleblower program, which is a 32-page document, to the U.S. Department of Justice and to FinCEN to explain the role of the individual and official involved, including the role of Terence Michael Drew and Garth Wilkin. They know that. That's what they're afraid of. They know that since July 2023, I have started to provide the evidence to Homeland Security in the United States. So when I hear the caller that just called, which I understand is a Drew supporter, and that's fine, and he's saying that I'm evil and I'm trying to mash up the country, I want you to understand something. Imagine a copy of a Kittian passport. and take a scissor and cut only 15 to 20% of that passport. That's what you get the people. The rest, 75% to 80%, went overseas with no control. That's what MSR investigated. Where did that money go? Who benefited that money? And let me tell you the good news. We know we did. That's what they're afraid of.
But I'm sorry to interrupt. Let me ask you a question. Because
please.
You said you have all this information, right? But it's your word and your word only. How and when we'll be able to determine the veracity of what you're saying?
Well, first of all, releasing the information to general public will do nothing. It will do a couple of headlines in the media in St. Kitts that are afraid of the government, right? So those bank statements are with the U.S. authority, like every evidence. But a few days ago, after Terence Michael Drew continued that fantasy that he came up with, which I recommend you to watch Mr. Benta and Mr. Morris Show podcast that they did tonight, where they explain a complete accurate of what happened when they met him. In the press release that I've issued a few days ago, I invited the director of public prosecution to come to my lawyer's office in Washington, D.C., because we're not going to send hundreds of millions of dollars of transaction to St. Kitts, right? And then he's going to tell us whatever. And he can sit down and he can review. How can we more be transparent? Let's see if Garth Wilkin will allow the director of public prosecution to come to DC in our lawyer office, and we can show him evidence of fraud and corruption.
So you'll show him the checks, the bank accounts and so on? That's what you're saying?
It's not checks. It's a bank statement.
Bank statements, yes, right.
Absolutely. And you're talking about thousands of transactions for hundreds of millions of dollars.
And
right?
if he sees them, what do you expect? Would the expected outcome be? If he sees them, what do you expect him to do?
The outcome will be that he will be busy for the next 10 years.
Okay.
Only working on that.
Okay. So when will we be able to see these accounts ourselves? We hear about millions of dollars Tom has and Dick has, but when will we be able to see them?
The priority when there is when you make a federal program like the one that I've entered, which is the whistleblower program, the priority is the work of the U.S. Department of Justice. I'm waiting for them to finish their conclusion. Releasing to the general public the bank statement will jeopardize, and to be honest with you, Mr. Patches, perhaps some people will pack and disappear, which is not the intent. Okay? So when the U.S. Department of Justice will finish their work and Homeland Security, then I'm assuming that they will do something or not. You know, I'm not talking, and I'm not the U.S. Department of Justice, right? As for the documentary that Terence Michael Drew is talking about, I was kind of upset that Mr. Mauricio told him about it, and I was kind of surprised that he told him, and I called him. But it's okay. After all, that's not a problem. Okay. Terence Michael Drew is talking about United Nations to go to. No problem. Absolutely. Let's go to the United Nations and let's go to screen the documentary to the United Nations. And I'll bring to the bank statement to the United Nations. And I will explain bank statement in hands how the people of the country have been defrauded over the years of $2 billion US. So I don't want to hear about me mashing the country when a group of men have made millions of dollars because they were in power. I have not done that.
Let me ask you one question, Mr. Martinez, and perhaps give you next 30 seconds. My lines are going. There's a view outside there. Many people are saying that had you got into the program, because you got your projects approved, am I correct?
And
had you got into the program and started selling?
Both by Timothy and by Drew.
Okay. Had you got into the program and start selling your shares, you would not have been at this juncture now. Is that what? How do you react to that?
Very simple. Okay. It's all. First of all, I want you to understand is if there is a scandal today in St. Kitts and Nevis for the CBI, I consider personally that it's the fault of Garth Wilkin. Okay, because he told us and our investors not to believe the rumors that they were continuing to process the application at $100,000 illegally, right? But then we found out about it.
But do you believe though? Do you believe that?
No, but let me finish because it's important. So how do you expect us, who have invested close to $40 million in the country cash, okay? How do you expect us to sell legally at $250,000 a citizenship, where the government were allowing and processing Galaxy application for the jail fraudulently at $100,000? You cannot compete.
But this is my understanding. I understand you, but it is my understanding though, and I saw some information from an agent pertaining to St. Lucia. But it is my understanding that all parts of the world there's underselling. Is that correct? Or is it? Would it ever be able to eradicate it?
I think that the scandal of the CBI. Okay, let's assume that Garth Wilkin and Drew will have done what they said they would do. Then we would have had a better market. Unfortunately, the Chinese that are responsible for all of this situation moved to St. Lucia and did even worse in St. Lucia than they did in St. Kitts.
Okay.
So we continue our investigation.
Okay.
Then we found out that the problem was entirely regional. Okay. So I believe, that we are only at the beginning of the CBI scandal. And it's all because when you see where the money went, you realize that it went to the friends, the family that processed the application and that have become millionaire overnight. And of course, we have also found out some foundation, some assets in Dubai. Was it why you created the CBI, Mr. Patches? Was it to create real infrastructure to the country and real dividend for the people? Or was it for a few to become millionaire? Okay. You tell me. Okay. So you tell your guy that called all the time that they created that situation. We didn't. We investigated.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your intervention as well. That's famous Felipe Martinez calling to that program tonight and giving his perspective. And the country waits with bated breath to actually see the information that's been referenced for so long by Straight Talk family. Dr. July is threatening utterances about taking people to court, read this email, for criticizing the role of his weak leadership will cease is a colossal mistake. He said that mercenaries enter his office shaking him down to extort hundreds of millions of dollars from him. The DJ said that he, the DJ, was the one of the mercenaries July was referring to, and nothing of that sort took place. and the DJ gave a more comprehensive and believable detailed explanation of what took place in his office. If he thinks, because he's the Prime Minister, that he can use loose words in court such as extortion and blackmail without proving the elements of extortion or blackmail, he really lie, reads this email. He has it in for Marisha because in news during their victory celebration, Marisha said he met the Prime Minister's sister, Sandra Drew, and her husband, Jesse. Now, all this time, July was saying Mickey Stokes was his father, which is a big lie, but it is plain to see by everybody that he has no resemblance of Stokes. But look, every imps of the late Michael J.K. Drew, a former police officer. So he has it in for Marisha, who exposed him right here in New York, reads this email. Patches, the one cry out going to be Lavi, reads this email. Good night, Patches. I'm writing from Shadwell. We have a serious water situation here in Shadwell. Water is going every day. It comes at mornings about 4:30 a.m., goes about 9:30 a.m. It returns at 4:30 p.m. and goes about 6:30 p.m. Not good enough. Nevis is something tended to write. It's 6 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. I'll take a few more calls, my Straight Dog family, before we wrap tonight's programming. But for you who joined me late, we were in fact looking at the thesis for tonight. I believe Sprat, that shark got so high. Good night, caller, you're live. Yes, sir.
I believe Sprat. I did.
Yeah, turn your volume down, dog. Turn it quick.
Turn it down.
Yes, sir.
And Miss Hart, I call in to tell you, I gave you the wrong passage of scripture. I have to really call you back and let the audience know. Is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 22.
Okay.
And here we say here, and give the whole passage, rob not the poor, because he is poor, neither the oppression of the affliction in the gate. Thank you, Mr. Patel.
Thank you very much as well. The Bible man, we go back to the lines and take a few more calls before we wrap tonight's programming. Caller, you're live.
Patches, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm fine. I'm seeking some assistance from you because I don't know if I have the correct meaning of certain words. The word extortion, what does it mean?
Well, there are several meanings, you know. You are, in colloquial language, you can say you hold somebody against their will, and you rob them or you steal from them. You know, there's so many scenarios you can outline as it comes to as refers to extortion. That's as simple.
And is that a crime?
Of course, it is.
It's a crime. Because I don't want to get too much into the back and forth, and then say. But the guy Philip Martinez, according to the Prime Minister, if I understand him correctly, the Prime Minister said that Philip Martinez tried to extort, I think it was $40 to $100 million from him at the Treasury.
He said
I'm asking him at something.
he said he tried to. Well, I mean, extortion really is to do something forcibly against somebody's will, you know, or to force them to do something, right? Create a situation where you force them to do something. The practice of, you know, obtaining some benefit through force or coercion, as they say. I think that's the word they use. Coercion is a proper familiar word as well.
Because if that statement is correct, which I don't know, why the Prime Minister didn't ask his bodyguards or somebody there to involve the police? They never right.
Well, but you're perfectly correct, you know, because if he's they're trying to get something money from him by force or by threats, you know, then it is criminal, and he has his security guards outside his door. So it's just a baloney from the Prime Minister, you know. He's a
because
make your point, Carla. Make your point.
Because I'm a little bit worried. I know when we in sync it, when we say certain things, or we do certain things, you find they take us to the court very quick and they say they want $500,000 compensation and 50 for liar. And I mean, a man coming in your office and doing this kind of behavior, and you just accept that kind of behavior. You don't know if me wrong patches.
But you're right. If someone comes and threatens you, holds a gun to your head, or use some kind of force, right, and threaten violence or to damage you, or damage your property, or to harm you, even your reputation, I believe that can be considered extortion. I stand to be corrected. Yeah, but any final word though? I'm trying to wrap.
Well, the most I would just say, if that is so, the Prime Minister should take action against Philip Martinez. That is my strong feeling. If that is so, he should take action against him.
But he never met Philip Martinez, so he's not in it. He met some Abenta and DJ Marisha.
Okay. Yes. Sorry for the wrong name. Yes. Yeah, that's the chief of police from St. Thomas Arts and Choir.
He spoke about it already, so he spoke about it. So I don't know why the Prime Minister come back with that.
Yeah, because I mean, you is the Prime Minister of the Federation.
Yeah.
And for that person to want $40 or $100 million, which I'm assuming from the Treasury because it's taxpayers' money. I mean, lock him up. You have a good night, you hear me?
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. Yes. Thanks a lot for your input, my Straight Talk family, as we wind down tonight's programming. I've seen this. Someone sent me that picture with Corporal Drew. I know Corporal Drew very well. I don't know what this emailer is suggesting, but Corporal Michael J.K., I think is his name. But my Straight Talk family, as we wind down tonight's programming, we looked at what we call, with the title, I believe, Sprat, that shark got so right. And I explained in my introduction in terms of the thesis title that when we, in the past, we use this metaphor, this old colloquial slang, when Sprat come out the sea and say that shark got so high, you better believe Sprat. And that simple line rather holds deep meaning. It tells us that when the small man, the man with nothing to gain, takes the risk to speak out against the big man, the one with power, privilege, and presence, you better stop and listen, because the Sprat knows what it saw. The small man knows what he saw, and it wouldn't risk its life to lie on the shark. And it's not a question of defending anybody. Today, when we talk about DJ Marisha, a Sprat in the eyes of many, but one who has swum to the surface with heavy words on his lips. He has raised the alarm over the citizenship by investment program, and even more boldly, he questioned the leadership and integrity of the man who stands at the helm, the shark, the Prime Minister. This is no small thing. He's not backed by the power of office or protected by political rank. His voice is not cushioned by advisors or speech writers. He's a man with something to lose, and he lost his job. And yet he spoke. He looked to the shark in the face and said, "You got so high." That's what Marisha said to Terrence Michael July. I'll take this final email, my Straight Dog family. It's good night, Mr. Liburd. Did you listen to the DJ last night? I really hope you did. DJ Marisha called the Prime Minister a weak and spineless leader who didn't have the moral fortitude to fire that bandit AG GL Wilkin over the Nannygate scandal. I am still shocked by the DJ's revelation that our Prime Minister is a dangerous liar, reads this email. And my Straight Dog family, we don't know all the facts. That is why we are calling not for scandal, not for division, but for truth and transparency. If DJ Marisha is wrong, then disprove him. But if he's right, let the people know. Because the CBI program is not the private property of politicians. It is the birthright of the Kittitian and Nevision people. Our economy relies on it. Our international reputation is tied to it. Our national trust depends on it. If there are shadows over how passports are being sold, how funds are being handled, or who is benefiting most, we deserve answers. And do not be fooled into thinking that this is just political noise. That's how sharks protect themselves. They swim fast, stir the water, and try to blur the vision of those watching. But when a Sprat swims up and speaks up, it's not noise, it's a signal. So I say again, believe the Sprat, or at least listen to him, hear him out. Because if we silence the small voices today, tomorrow we will be blind to the truth. And a nation that cannot hear its Sprats will one day fall prey to its own sharks. Let's just move forward, not with fear or favor, but with integrity. Let's just demand clarity on the CBI program. Let's just protect the right of all citizens, big and small, to speak freely. And above all, let's just remember that in this federation, truth does not belong to the powerful. It belongs to the people. In a time like this, my Straight Dog family, when our country stands at critical crossroads, we must return to the wisdom of our foreparents, because they taught us, plain and simple, a liar is a thief. And if you can't trust a man's word, how can you trust his leadership? Marisha, we found out, is not a comrade. He is a patriot. And my Straight Dog family, as we wrap tonight, this damning allegation against Prime Minister Joe is a warning. And we cannot ignore it. If so, we do it at our own peril. There are dangers, my Straight Dog family. Foreign investors and international partners will not deal confidently with a government led by someone perceived, like Dr. Joe, to be dishonest. The CBI is our economic lifeline. If it is run by untrustworthy hands, it becomes toxic, and our golden goose will stop laying the egg. But my Street Talk family, as we wrap for tonight, I want to say there's plenty cover-up. And the cover-up is worse than the crime. Today we are seeing the weight of that truth unfold before our eyes. A government that fails is one thing, but a government that lies about its failure, silences whistleblowers, manipulates data, and shields itself with propaganda, such a government is a danger to democracy itself. Why can't we know how many shares were issued? You talk about the prison project. What about the airport? 3,000 shares issued. The Basti High School, 1,400 shares issued. The other hotel there are some 764 shares issued. This is wrong. This is wrong, my Street Talk family. But when leaders are more committed to protecting their image rather than solving the people's problems, the people suffer twice. Once for the original failure and again for the deliberate deception. So we are not asking for protection. We are demanding honesty, accountability, the courage to admit when things go wrong, and the resolve to put them right. That is leadership. That is integrity. History is clear, my Straight Talk family. No administration survives the rot of cover-ups. Truth has a way of rising, sometimes slowly, but always surely. My Straight Talk family, let it be known, this nation deserves better than secrets, spin, and silence. We deserve the truth. I believe, Sprat, that shark got a sore eye. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I want to thank you, the many listeners, those of you, my Straight Talk family, who call, those who send emails. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's Spirit, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Remember, do your chores. Do things in moderation, my Straight Talk family. And remember as well that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safe